what we're going to do is we are inserting stitching and denim washes, how to match the fabrics, and how to play around a little bit and make it more realistic. As you can see here right now, there's a little bit of stitching here, but it's more like a line on a pattern. There's no stitch as such, and it looks, even though it looks already pretty good for being, you know, an avatar image here, but we want to make it a lot more realistic with the jeans. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in this session, and we are going to get started with the fabric. You can see this one here has already the fabric, like a lightweight denim. You can see that in your object browser. So all of these pieces are in denim lightweight, but I would like them to be a raw denim, so it's just a different look. So I type in denim, you're going to your fabrics, obviously, type in denim, and then when you hover over them, you can see at the top the name. So denim raw is what I want. I drop it over into my property editor, and then while I'm here, I am also going to add a cotton poplin for the pocket bags, because if you were to make these in a raw denim, that would be really thick in here, so not what we want. So now that I've got them here on my side, I can actually select all pattern pieces by going Command A and going onto this little arrow down, assign to selected patterns. Okay, you can see now it's purple. It's obviously the normal map. So when we double click on our fabric and we go into the property editor, then here we have all the information about this fabric. So the name is raw denim. You could also rename them based on, you know, when you do your collection and things like that. Then we scroll down to material. We go to front. Matte fabric, we keep that because it's not, the denim is not going to be shiny. The texture we leave as it is. To change the color, we turn on the saturation and we pick in color a color that we like. So you can pick any color really. So you can even, doesn't have to be, you know, you could do a pink or purple jeans really, but I'm just going to go with some kind of dark blue. Once I'm happy with that, I go apply and go done. And for the back, what I wanted to show you is, so that's the front. Now the back, this is the material, right? So it's not the back of the garment, it's the back of the fabric. So the same jeans, I would like to pick a different color. Actually, sorry. See how it's all disabled? You can't actually use any of these. It's because this one here is ticked. Use same material as front. So we are unticking that so we can actually change the back side of the fabric. And when we go down here to color, we pick, so this is the color we have at the moment, and I'm going to pick something a little lighter. Actually, let me see if I can, yeah, I can do that while I'm in here. I can actually hide my mannequin, my avatar, and you can see it's getting lighter. It's not getting as white as I have it here on the image, because remember the inside pattern pieces always have this, they're gray, so that we know that's the inside of the pattern, like the wrong side. So therefore, but you can see the difference. Okay, so in real, like once we are rendering it and you would see it, it will be the color that you pick. So this is the outside, I'm picking this for the inside. Go apply and done. Okay. That is it for this fabric. Then our cotton poplin. I'm just going to apply that to those two pattern pieces. And then I'm also going to check and find a different fabric. So I'm going back to the front. This one here should be ticked, yes, because we keep the same as the front, and the front we are picking a color. So you can use eyedropper and pick the fabric from here. For your pocket bags, they should always, press escape to get out of it, they should always be either the same color or, if anything, a little bit darker. Okay. apply, done. So it's our pocket bags done as well. Okay, so what I would like to do now is for our pocket bags, our waistband. So when we are sewing this, this will be doubled, right? To have a neat finish, clean finish inside. Our pattern piece is only single, so for the visualization of this one here, we have just a single pattern piece. Actually, another thing I wanted to show you, to tell you, is see how it's kind of brown, and it is in here as well. So when we click on our pattern piece, we're going to remember the property editors are for everything, right? So it can be for this pattern, it can be for the fabric, and it can even be for a point, okay? So, or a line, so it can be for anything. Back to the pattern. The reason for the color is when you scroll down in here, bond, see the bond is ticked as on. Do you know what bonding means? Bond is basically, now I've turned it off, and you should see it's the same color. So whenever you would be going into higher resolution, rendering your garment, this will always be the correct color. The reason why it's saved as bond is because it means the fabric needs to be bonded with the fusing. Okay, so there are two ways of applying fusing. One is where you cut it out and stick it piece onto piece, but in production you don't usually do that. You take a big piece of the fabric and fuse the whole fabric, and then you cut your waistband on that fabric, rather than cutting the waistband once in fusing, once in the real fabric, and then put it ironing on the fusing. Okay, so in the manufacturing process, all the waistbands will be cut separately on a bonded fabric. That is the reason for the color. This is not what it will look like. Okay. So if you want to take your snapshots at the end, you can actually turn off the bond, so you have a nicer view of your garment. Okay, so back to the waistband. To get a more realistic look with the double layer, what we can do is we can apply thickness rendering. See here under simulation properties, thickness rendering, and let's make that 2. And then further down, so thickness rendering 2, and then further down no, I've lost it now, just bear with me. Oh, sorry. It was further up. So under selected line, we are going to tick the double-sided, okay, so that we actually tell it that the garment is double-sided, and that will give us a more realistic look here. Yeah. And now we can basically copy this fabric here. So whenever you have a fabric here, you want to duplicate it, even just to have it, let's say you want to have the same in a different color, you can do that here. And I'm just going to rename this to DS for double-sided. And then I can go into this fabric and apply this. And now what we can do is we can go into this fabric and change the backside to be the same as the front, which then means the back will be the same as the denim from the outside rather than just the inside fabric. Okay, and that is basically it to achieve a more realistic look for that. Okay, so now if we zoom out to all our pieces, you can do that by right clicking and zoom extends all, or use your close bracket to achieve that result. So what we can do now is we want to add some seam property. We want to apply some tension to the seam. So I go into edit sewing and I select all my pieces, all my seams. Basically, you can see all the sewing here looks a bit confusing, but we know the garment looks right, so we keep it as is. And then you go into tension and turn that on. And I want you to change the strength to, let's do 3, and then the ratio to 97. And then I'd like you to simulate. Actually, let's do that. I would like to show you a little bit better what it would look like. So here we can see some seams. Just checking. So I haven't gone too far backwards, so it's all there. I'm going to turn off seams and just simulate. Okay, so there's a little bit of a change in attention. Won't be showing it as much. Don't worry about this kind of things. That's just the software. Okay, so let me go back and, well, not go back, sorry. Let's go forward. And you can also basically change the attention in a different way, the tension, and you can also do that at the end as well when you do the final adjustments with the high resolution, but we haven't really done that yet, so we're skipping that for now. For the denim, you can also adjust the thickness of the seams to make them more realistic. Okay, so basically, again, selecting all our seams here. And going into intensity, changing that to 30, and the thickness. Oh, sorry, it's a bit slow. And the thickness to 0.4 millimeters, so 4 millimeters, 0.4 centimeters. And then again we simulate to make that change. Okay, next thing is to apply top stitching. So top stitching is up here. You can see our default top stitching is here. So what we can do is we can actually set up the properties to make a denim top stitching. So just copy the same and have this one here, call it denim. I would actually call it 1N for 1 needle and 3 millimeters for the thickness. So then going in here, this should be, the type should be OBG, so that has to stay. The offset, I want you to make the offset, I looked it up because I don't really deal with inches as well. So 1/8 is about 3 millimeters. And then the stitch count, I'm leaving that in the specification, the stitch length. So SPI is stitches per inch. Okay, again, I don't really do as well with the inches, but what we want to have is 9 stitches per inch. Okay, which basically changes your stitch length. That makes the stitch length about, again, 2.83 millimeters. Okay, and then the space, this is actually in centimeters here, so I want to have a space of 0.3 millimeters. And then the threads thickness 140. Then going further down for the color, going to pick this orange here, which is a typical jean thread color, and apply, done. Yep. And that actually what we can also do is here at the bottom, tick our 3D to be on. And yeah, that looks okay. Okay, so now to apply our top stitching, this is edit top stitch, and then this one here is seam line top, segment top stitch, free top stitch, so a few different ways. Let's go with the free top stitch. And for this one here, so this is a stitching 3 millimeters next to the fabric, next to the seam or the fabric edge, depending on where it is. And we want to apply this to the center front. You can actually see it on the 3D happening while I do this, okay? And also to the waistband, all around. So I can start there, go all around, my stitching there. And next thing is your belt loops as well. Okay. Then I would like to create another one, which is the same, but it's going to be 10 millimeters from the edge. So we can use it for our hem. Okay, so this one here, so just renaming it here obviously doesn't change the stitch, right? So we need to go in here and change the space. Oh, sorry, that's in centimeters, so 0.1. And sorry, this is in centimeters, 1 centimeter. Okay, so that we can use for the hem. Actually, it's symmetric, so I only need to apply it to one, it will automatically be done on the others. Let's have a look at that. No, I've definitely done something wrong. That looks so tiny. Let me go back in here. Oh, sorry. Offset. In here. The offset is basically where we offset it from, basically how far it is from the edge. It's the offset, sorry. So actually half an inch is 1.2 about. So let's go with that. And you can see here that has been done, but the space is a centimeter, which obviously is wrong. So let's put that one back to 3 millimeters. Sorry about the confusion. So offset half an inch and the space 0.3. And now we can have a look. That looks a lot better. Okay, so that is for the hem. And then we're going to do a third one, which we're going to use the 3 millimeter one and copy. And this time we call it 2 needles, so we have our twin needle stitching. Okay, so what we need to change for the 2 needle is we need to go into our configurations and change the number of lines to 2. And yeah, this should be 0.6, so that's just or like a quarter of an inch, depending on what comes up on your screen. And yeah, so that's good. So this one I'm going to apply to the in leg. You see that? Nice. Same on. So the front are not symmetric pieces because of the fly front and all those changes, where the back are. But here we don't need to apply it to the back, we actually want it to the front only. And then our pocket. Actually all around, obviously on the top it needs to be stitched. Sorry, that was already done beforehand. Then the pocket opening here. Zoom in here so you can see that as well. And our fly stitching as well. So that looks pretty good. We have the lines on here. Let me just hide them, internal lines. So now that they're gone, you can see that it looks a lot better as well. Okay, and then our yoke seam as well. There we go. Okay. And that's it for our top stitching. So a few different ways of how we can apply them. It makes the garment look a lot better straight away.